Galaxy Unpacked, which was kind of underwhelming. Okay, Danny, what products were announced?
Okay, so right off the bat, I must just say that I do think this year's Unpacked was probably the best paced, but I also think it was that just because there wasn't that much that they showed off. So they really only showed off two products, and that is the S26 Ultra and the new Buds 4 Pro. Now, there is the new regular S26, but like they have been doing for the past like years, they didn't even really talk about it. Like they talked about it for like 2 minutes. All they did is reveal that they raised the price. That's basically all they did. So we have the S26 Ultra, which they're calling an agentic AI phone now. And as you may or may not know, the big feature for that phone is the privacy display, which we talked about in our rumor recap. It turns out that is true, and thankfully, everything seems to be, like, when it comes to the features, good. Although it has been revealed now that there is a few downsides to it. Downsides as in, like, decreasing your display resolution by, like, half.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the privacy display feature is really cool, and it's great because it can automatically turn on and off whenever you need it to. So, honestly, the resolution hit is not that big of a downgrade. I mean, obviously, it's a downgrade. It'll look less crispy. Your screen will look less crispy, but it's not too much of a downgrade if they can't see it at all. Because if the people beside you can't see what's happening on your screen, I would rather take half the resolution than someone just reading all my text from my mother or my father. Or if I'm in my baking app saying how broke I am or whatnot. And it's good. It's just, I wish it didn't have that downside where it didn't just cut the resolution in half. And because it cuts the resolution in half, there's a good chance it also cuts the brightness in half. Probably not visible brightness in half, but probably about like a 25% decrease in like physical brightness because there's less LEDs turned on then. So there's going to be overall less light being emitted. But there's also new features, um, well, new chip, I guess. The new chip that's faster. Yeah, it's a fast chip. Okay, it's more power efficient. It got 2 more hours of battery life in Mr. Who's the Boss battery test. Um,
The
uh,
design slightly different.
oh yeah, has a new back glass. Oh, there's the new Horizon Lock feature that might be coming to last year's phone. Yeah, the Horizon Lock feature is really cool. It's where you have your camera, and then no matter how you orient your camera, it'll always stay upright in center, which is really cool. But it might be coming a software update for the last gen phone too. So if that's so, that's not a new feature. That's just a new software feature.
Yeah, and going a lot of the new features they talked about were just new software features like now or nudge now or now nudge or whatever it was called,
Yep.
where it's just like in Google Messages where let's say someone's like, oh hey, can you send me the photos from your vacation 2 million years ago? I don't know why I said 2 million. Anyways, it will like recommend you to do that and it will select it for you and all that. And then it can also now Galaxy A can access your notifications now and show it in Now Brief. They also did show off the new Gemini that can work in the background and like do basically everything for you now, which in my opinion is cool but also not cool because now people are like, people are gonna forget how to use their phones if they're just telling Gemini to do everything for them. I mean, I doubt it will work that fluently where they literally don't have to really do anything on their phone anymore. But I still just don't. It's just like I did. No, no, no.
Yeah. I mean, that feature's really cool, and that's why they have the right to call it an agentic phone now, because technically it's an AI agent that's doing stuff for you. Kinda. I mean, yes, it does, but it's still not agentic where it understands like everything about you still. It's just you've given it a task and it does that task for you, which it's sort of like an agent, but still not what we're looking for. But it's a really cool feature. For example, they showed off you can have it order food for you, and all you need to do is confirm checkout. So it'll automatically, in the background, open that app up, tap around the app, add items to your cart from your preference list or from what you told it to get. It'll add to your cart, or even from like a group chat. So you can say all these items from the group chat, add them all to my cart, which if it does that properly, that's be really impressive. I highly doubt it's going to do that well because like, oh, I want this. No, I want this. Oh, wait, no, I want this instead. I highly doubt it's going to be able to understand like they will change their mind 10 times on the same item. But if it does, that's
Yeah,
really cool.
everyone's food order is gonna be messed up. They're gonna be like, "Why is there a bologna on my pizza? I didn't tell them to do that."
Yeah,
And then
that's why I have to confirm before it checks out. It's basically like, hey, it may have done a horrible, awful job and you would have been better doing it yourself because you would have done it correctly the first time yourself. But hey, it can kind of do it. I mean, what else are you going to be doing in the meantime while it's ordering food for you? What are you going to be doing in the meantime? Anyway.
yeah, and then they also unveiled the new Bixby, which has AI from Perplexity in it, one of the more lesser known things. It looks really cool because it can do more system level things, but I'm not really sure if it would be better than um Gemini, which they already have Gemini, so it's kind of like why like I don't know, it's a bit confusing. In a way, it's kind of almost like what Apple Intelligence is doing with implementing Gemini, except they're implementing Perplexity, along with all the other things with Bixby. So I guess you have options, which is a good thing. But my question and let me finish the software features. There's also a new photo assist and image editing studio. Basically, you can take your photo and just have AI make a whole entire image. Like, literally at this point, you might as well just generate a AI image from scratch. I am against this type of AI image editing because it really just takes away any identity, and
Yeah,
these days there's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you're taking a photo and then you are replacing every single thing about that photo that made it the photo. Hey, I can change the shirt I'm wearing. I can change to have someone right beside me that never was there in the first place. That is not what a photo is. I mean, there's a whole entire debate. What's a photo? What's not a photo? Let me tell you, if it's AI edited to make the scene different, it is not a real photo. Yes, you can play around with like exposure levels and contrast because that's not changing the pixels themselves. It's changing the color of the pixels, but it's not changing it to something completely new. I'm not changing the shirt I'm wearing. I'm not adding someone beside me. And that's taking every soul out of any photo. And unlike Google, with like Google's AI, they have Synth ID built into the photos. So Synth ID is like a footprint inside of the photo's code itself. You cannot remove the footprint of the inside the photo. So whenever you upload the photo, every single service knows if it's AI or not because the photo has a specific Synth ID in it. With Samsung, they're not implementing that at all. So you can just write that as a real photo and no one could tell the difference.
So yeah, and those are all of the software features with the phone. But my question about this is, like the Horizon Lock video, will this possibly be coming to older galaxies? Because if that is true, that just took away like almost all of the major new things that they marketed this phone about, honestly.
Mhm.
And so to recap, this is all of the new features, including hardware. So now Nudge, it can summarize your notifications. The new Gemini, which is just Android 17, and it's not coming out right now. The new Bixby, it has the new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, slightly faster, the privacy display. The cameras, they're the same megapixel count and everything. In fact, from what I know, they're the same sensor. It's just they increased the aperture.
Yeah, aperture increase is really
And
good though.
yeah. And then photo assist, the slight new design, better low light video because of the aperture and the new image pipeline, a better cooling, and then APV video. Now on the surface, that sounds like a lot, But when you start to look at it, most of that is just software,
Software,
and a lot of
software, software, software.
yeah, and a lot of the even the hardware things are like very minimal things, like the slightly faster chip, the slightly newer design, the slightly better cooling. All of that most of that you're not going to even see, like the better cooling. It will be better, obviously. You don't want your phone to overheat, but but yeah, and they spent most of their time on the software features, I feel like. And like I said, some of them may come to the older phones because I think the S25 Ultra can run basically all of that. Like I don't honestly think it's a case of it has to have that new chip to run it. I mean, I don't know, but
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, and from testing so far, it seems like they didn't really make the chip much faster because they just cut down on its power use. At least that's what it seems like. In benchmarks, it does go faster, but in everyday tasks, it seems like it goes the same speed, but uses less power while doing it, which it's better battery life, but saying it's faster when it usually isn't faster because you're just making it go slower on everyday tasks, slower, which it keeps up at the same speed, but it's using less power. It's kind of disingenuous to say, oh, it's 30% faster, 15% faster, whatnot, when you're making it 15% less power consumption. So, in other words, it's the same speed, but does the same amount of amount of stuff in the same speed.
Yeah. Now looking at this design, I actually really like this design. Like, I like it so much better than any of the other designs. I personally hated the box corners
Oh,
with the
same.
sharp edges. And then finally with the S25, they started rounding it, which was good. It could use a little more, but they rounded it even more now. And I also really like the camera design this year. I think it looks really good. I think it could use a little more rounding, but overall, I do really like this design. It's probably my favorite out of all of them. I think it looks really good. I also really like the color lineup. Like, I know the cobalt purple is like the big one, but I actually really like that sky blue color. So overall, I think they did a really good job on the design. Now, is it some whole new design from the S25? No. I mean, it still has the same camera layout and same basic design. It's a bit thinner. I think it's also a bit lighter. But overall, I actually really love this design. Like, I would honestly go as far to say that I like the camera layout better than like the iPhone 17. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of that plateau, just with the odd spacing. I like the roundedness more on the 17, but I kind of like the camera design more on this.
Yeah.
But one thing they did not talk about the design is that they switched back from titanium to aluminum, just like Apple did
Yeah,
with the
they did.
17 Pro. And I know some people have said it's for cost, and it might be for that reason, but it sure does look bad on Samsung that back in 2023, when Apple switched to titanium and made a big deal about it, the next year they did the same thing. And here again, history repeats itself. Apple switched back to aluminum, so did they. Now, Apple made a bigger deal about switching back to aluminum than Samsung did because Samsung did not even mention it. But still, if it is a coincidence, it definitely does not look good for them.
It doesn't, and I mean, it was a cost-saving measure, especially because they ran out of RAM for themselves, so they have to get RAM from another company now, so they have to spend a lot more on that RAM because it's not their own in-house RAM anymore. But it's like, come on, guys. We went to titanium, and you advertised titanium as a good new feature because it's stronger, because it is stronger, and now you switched back. I mean, yes, it's not too big of a deal because aluminum, titanium, yes, they're stronger, but it's not much stronger. And overall, aluminum has better thermals, which is what Apple says, but it's just a little bit better thermals. And it just feels like when they removed Bluetooth from the S Pen, it feels like they're cutting corners that they shouldn't be cutting. I mean, I understand if they cut corners that don't change the experience, like removing Bluetooth from their pen. That changed the experience for me. I use the pen to take photos when my hands are full. I used the Bluetooth feature on the pen to switch my pen tips in Samsung Notes. And now they removed that, so I can't do that anymore. And then for this year, they're just changing the material to something that's slightly less strong. I mean, it may have better thermals, but it's less strong. I don't want a weaker phone.
Yeah, and I honestly wish Apple didn't do it either. I'm being honest, titanium's my favorite material they've used. Aluminum's fine. I didn't really like the stainless steel. I feel like stainless steel made it almost look like a toy just because of how
Oh, yeah.
shiny it was. Um, but I really liked the titanium. And I don't hate the aluminum. And honestly, I've thought about getting the 18 Pro if I can afford it and trading in my current phone. But I honestly am kind of concerned about the durability just because there's been a lot of things going around about how durable it is. I think some of it's exaggerated, but it's still definitely not as durable.
Yeah.
So,
I
and
mean,
I do like titanium.
talking about the price, it technically did not go up this year. At least the Ultra did not. The Ultra is technically the same price, but they are no longer offering the free double storage upgrade anymore, which was a really big selling point of the S24 series. Because if you were to buy it within 1 week of its launch, instead of paying for the 256 gigabyte, you get the 512 gigabyte for free. They're not doing that anymore. And for the S26 and S26 Plus, aka the last year's phones in a new body, they went up by $100. And it's for me, if I were to buy the phone, trading in my current phone I have right now, it would be $999.99.
Is
And my
that the
trade-in,
S26 Ultra?
yeah, S26 Ultra, and I'm trading in an S22 Ultra. If I trade my S22 Ultra and get the S26 Ultra, I'm paying $1,000 for a new phone, which makes sense. But if I didn't have a trade-in, it would be $1,500 if I did not have a trade-in. I'm sorry. That is, I mean, I know it's a good phone and whatnot. It's super high production value. It has super long software support, but still, that's a lot of money.
I know. You can literally, that is the price of the baseline MacBook Pro. And honestly, Apple is a bit overpriced when it comes to that. Not anymore because of the RAM shortage. Anyways, it's still like a lot of money. And I just think the most outrageous thing is the price increases on the base models.
They didn't change anything. They're the same phone. Okay, sorry.
All they did was they took the S24 Ultra, which is really the S22 Ultra that they've just been reusing for several years now, took out the inside of it, put it in a new design and called it a day and raised the price by $100. Literally, the S26 Plus, which is just the bigger version of the S26, is $1,099. That is the starting price of the iPhone 17 Pro.
And
And I don't think
that's not comparable. That's not comparable.
yeah,
You can't do an iPhone 17 Pro and then a Samsung S26 Plus. The Plus and the Pro and the Plus and the Ultra are completely different phones. The Ultra's the good one, the Plus are the less good phones. And you cannot compare a Pro iPhone to a regular base Samsung. No.
yeah. And honestly, the poor base models, they've been neglecting them for years, honestly. I think it was the Galaxy Unpacked 2021 was the last one where they actually had a dedicated segment to talking about the regular ones.
Yeah, they don't even, they had the S23 and S26 and S26 Plus on screen for 20 seconds of the whole entire hour 30-minute presentation. 20 seconds. And it was just a spec sheet. It was just a spec sheet. Nothing about it that was it. Because they're just like, okay, everyone's just going to buy the Ultra and we're going to call it a day there. And they're not thinking about other people who don't want the S Pen. They don't want the extra good cameras. They want a good phone. At least the bare minimum, they could have kept it the same price. The bare minimum, just keep it the same price. But they said, no, let's make it more expensive for last year's phone with a slightly new chip.
They also added a new video format called APV, which I'm not exactly sure what it stands for, but I'm pretty sure the P and V stand for professional video. I'm not sure
advanced
what the
professional video.
Oh yeah, it is professional video, and it is kind of their rivalry to Apple's ProRes and ProRes RAW.
Mhm.
It looks good, but from what I've looked into, it's still not quite as good as ProRes RAW. It's probably as good, if not a little better, than the regular ProRes, but from what I looked up, it's not quite as good as ProRes RAW, because ProRes RAW supports OpenGate along with Genlock, which OpenGate means it just shows the full sensor, which I know iPhones can't do 8K, but actually when you do OpenGate, it's actually slightly higher resolution than 4K. I think it's around 5K from what I've seen looking into it. That now it can do 8K in APV, but it doesn't have, if you literally look up its spec sheet, it doesn't have the
Y
same amount of
yeah,
control that you would get.
but at the same
And
time,
I'm sure,
they already had it, sort of. They had a different version called Log. Remember when they released Log last year? Isn't it
yes.
practically the same thing? Because Log was basically uncompressed video footage, and then APV is compressed raw video footage. So, what is the difference between them?
Well, log is actually just has to do with the color standard. It has a lot more dynamic range, and even though it's compressed colors, it actually gives you so much more. The iPhone's had that since 2023. I use that all the time. It's very good. This is more when it comes to quality of that. Because like ProRes RAW with log and log. The log part is the color codec, and then the ProRes is the format of the video, basically. So they are two different things. So log just has to do with the color space
Yep.
on that. So I mean it's great. I love log. The iPhone's had it for several years now. Anyways, I just had to make that joke. Anyways, I mean it's a good thing, but yeah. So that is the new phone. And most of the new things are just software features that may or may not be coming to older phones. So, yeah.
At least they're coming to the older phones. That's something.
Yeah. And then moving on, we also have the new Buds 4 and 4 Pro. I can't remember if they talked, I think they actually may have actually talked about the regular Buds 4, but they have a
Yeah,
new
they did.
woofer and tweeter, so better sound quality. You can also adjust the EQ now. They have better
Oh, we've
noise
been able to
reduction
adjust
along
the
with,
EQ since the Galaxy Buds 2. That's not a new feature.
oh, well, they showed it,
Yeah,
so
they showed it, but it's
that's
not
what I
new.
had in. Yeah, and a better noise isolation. They also showed something about noise reduction in the event, and it did not sound that good because it was like for a microphone.
Yeah, it was call
It didn't
quality, like,
sound good.
background removal. It didn't sound good. It sounded like they sound like they were actually AI. Because it sounded like, oh, you could hear them fine, but there's, like, background noise, whatnot. They turned it on, and all of a sudden, it sounded like they were being compressed really badly. It wasn't even good compression, and that was the demo they showed. I don't think this feature is gonna be very good at all, to be honest. But setting that aside, overall, the improvements are pretty good. They have more battery life. They have significantly improved noise cancellation. Even Marquez Brownlee, he did a review of them compared to the AirPods. He, I don't remember the conclusion he came to, but I remember him saying that they were practically exactly the same as AirPods, if not slightly better. Because the sound quality technically is better, but the noise cancellation was slightly better on the AirPods, and the AirPods were slightly like uh, something else about the AirPods were slightly better, but he liked the design of the Galaxy Buds better. So he's like, they're the same thing. And that's finally about time because even the ones I have right now, the Buds 3 Pro, they were a couple steps behind in like noise cancellation. They weren't as good. And mic quality definitely was not as good. But now they finally stepped it up.
Yeah, so basically now, if you have a iPhone, get the AirPods. If you have a Samsung, get the Galaxy Buds. Basically, I guess is the conclusion that you could come to. And then moving on from
Oh, by the
the
way, they
same.
removed something from the earbuds.
Oh no, what is it this time?
Okay, they removed a very unnecessary point, the lights on the
Okay.
side. I never use the lights, but they removed
Oh,
earbud trade-in. They don't offer earbud trade-in anymore. I got these
mm,
trading in my old earbuds and got a $100 credit. And now their new ones, I asked the representative. They don't offer trade-ins for the new ones anymore, which is absurd. I don't know why they chose to do that.
yeah, I mean, Apple's never had that option, so
Oh, they don't?
no.
Okay, never mind.
At least not in the recent years.